As we are coming close to the end of the days of Sefiras HaOmer and approaching the great Yom Tov of Shavuot, Zman Matan Teiraseinu, I would like to take a few moments b'siyata d'shmaya to discuss a very important topic, one of the most important topics of Yiddishkeit, of who we are, of what we are supposed to do, and really, what is the Yom Tov of Shavuot all about? We are all familiar that many minhagim of the Yom Tov of Shavuot have to do with the mitzvah of Limud HaTorah. We stay up the night of Shavuot learning Torah. The songs that we sing, even some of the piyutim that are brought down in the machzorim, speak primarily about the mitzvah of Limud HaTorah. And to a thinking person, this is sort of a question. Why is it like that? After all, Matan Torah is when we got all 613 mitzvahs. True, Talmud Torah is the greatest mitzvah, Talmud Torah keneged kulam. But why don't we make a dagesh? Why don't we put an effort into doing all mitzvahs better on the Yom Tov of Shavuot? What is it about Limud HaTorah, Talmud Torah, that's how we celebrate, and that's what we do to solidify the Matan Torah and the Kabbalah Torah that takes place every year on Shavuos. And the truth is, it's not just a minhag that we have. It's really a mefurish Rashi. The Gemara tells us that Rav Yosef told his family members that when it comes to Yom Tov of Shavuos, you should prepare a special feast, an egla tilsa, because ilav ha-yoyma kama Yosef ike beshuka. If not for the day of Shavuos, if not for Matan Torah, then I would be just another Yosef. And today there's something different about me. And Rashi says, ilav ha-yoyma shalomadati Torah v'nisreimamti. That I learned Torah and I became elevated, I became bigger. So we see clearly in Rashi that the Limud HaTorah, the Talmud Torah, is what we're celebrating on Shavuos. And therefore, we celebrate it with our own Talmud Torah, more learning, singing about learning, discussing about learning. But what's the reason behind it? Why is it the Talmud Torah that takes over and that becomes what the Yom Tov is all about? And to understand this, we have to a little bit understand what is Talmud Torah. But before we understand what Talmud Torah is, we have to understand what is the Torah. The Torah is not just a mere handbook of laws, a guide of how to live our lives. The Torah is not do's and don'ts, different facts that the Rabbi Shalom told us to help us live our life properly. Chazal tell us that the Torah was something that was created even before the world was created. Which means to say the Torah is larger than the world. The Torah is the purpose for what the world was created. If the Torah would just be a handbook on how to live our lives in this world, then there can't be a purpose why the world was created. There's a world, we have to live with it, so the Torah teaches us how to do it. But we see from Chazal that the Torah is something a lot greater than that. And the Sefiras Makdashim explained to us that what the Torah is the Torah is in essence the seichel of the Rabbi Shalom. The Torah is in essence the Rabbi Shalom's thought process kivayachol, and the Rabbi Shalom gives us Klal Yisrael that we can have a chelik in him kivayachol, in his thought process, in his essence kivayachol. And the Nesinas HaTorah and the Kabbalah HaTorah wasn't just giving us laws and a guide and a handbook of how to live, but the Rabbi Shalom was Kivayachol giving us of himself. Yisrael v'oiraisa v'kucha brichu chad hu. Limud HaTorah, besides the great mitzvah involved in Limud HaTorah, but Limud HaTorah is the only way that we as individuals, we as human beings, can attach ourselves to the Rabbi Shalom through his Torah. When someone sits down to learn, and what he's really doing is he's taking into himself the Dvar Hashem. He is bringing into himself the ruchniistic bria that Torah is, which in essence is one kivayachol with the Rabbeinu Shleilam. He is then becoming more one with the Rabbeinu Shleilam. The Torah, through Limud Torah, elevates the person, as Rashi says, Lamadati Torah v'nisrei mamti. Through the Yom Tov of Shavuos, the Rabbeinu Shleilam gave us the Torah. In the Torah there are many mitzvahs. But how do we connect to the essence of the Torah that he gave us? That is only through Limud Torah. And therefore the celebration of Shavuos has to be dafka through Limud Torah. But there's something that's a little challenging about this understanding. We all experienced different high moments throughout the year doing certain mitzvahs. Every yid has a geschmack in a Chanukah Lecht. Every yid has a geschmack in the mitzvahs of Lel Pesach. When a person has an opportunity to do a rare mitzvah, a shiluach hakan, there's a simcha, there's a geschmack, there's an elation. But sometimes in Limud Torah we don't feel it. We feel much closer when we write out a big check to tzedakah, when we do a big chesed to someone else. Why don't we feel that in the Limud Torah? And how can we feel that in the Limud Torah? And Meirav and Rabbi say, I think the answer is ha-gufa, this in itself. Mitzvahs are physical acts. A physical act brings physical geschmack, physical feeling, physical elation to a person. The Torah is kulei ruchni. It doesn't by itself give us that high. What it does is it makes us bigger. We don't stay who we are and we get a high of doing something great. The Torah slowly elevates us, picks us up, makes us different, makes us better, brings us closer. And if you've ever watched a person's growth, a person who committed himself more to Limud Torah, in the long run, it takes time, but one slowly sees he's a different person. Everything about him is different. His ben adam lamakim, his ben adam lachaveiroi. The way he walks, the way he talks, the way he acts is changed through the Torah, because since he's connected to the Rabbeinu Shleilam in such a way, he is elevated, he is picked up. But Meirav and Rabbi say, there are two things that can bring that elation and that high to a person through his Limud Torah. Chazal tell us, Chayim heim l'moitzeehem. Torah gives chiyas to those that speak out the words of learning. In the mitzvah of Limud Torah, thinking and learning, reading from a Gemara without saying the words out loud is also a mitzvah. But the kedushas HaTorah that takes place when one reads a Gemara, when one reads a Gemara out loud with a geschmack, that kedushas HaTorah brings chayim l'moitzieihem bepeh. And the same is true with the inyan of Limud Torah beretzifas without being mafsik for dvarim betelim. Anyone who has experienced a half hour, an hour, 2 hours of sitting and learning straight out loud with a geschmack doesn't have to be explained. That chayim heim l'moitzieihem, that geschmack that takes place. He feels that elevation that's taking place in his neshama. He feels that elation, that simcha of being close to the Rabbeinu Shleilam. And we can all do it. Rabbi say Shavuos is coming. So kommt der Shavuos by Nacht. There's a long Shavuos afternoon. There's even a second night of Shavuos that we can take some time. But then there's what we can take from the Shavuos for the whole year. If we can work on our learning Torah out loud beretzifas, each person according to what he can do, let it be 15 minutes, a half hour, an hour, and so on. And start on Shavuos and make some type of Kabbalah of Limud Torah beretzifas out loud. Throughout the year, we will all experience that Chayim Leim L'Moitzieyim. It won't only be that process of growth that takes place in the Nisrei Mamti of Limud Torah, but there will be that Simcha and that Cheshek and that Geschmack. Soll der Eibishter helfen. We should all be Zeiche to Kabbalah HaTorah ba'ahava u'beratzen. We should all be zeicha to experience the Vanikir Vesalekim Li Toiv through Limud Torah. And we should all feel Yisrael, V'iraisa, V'kucha Brichu, Chad Hu.